Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It looks like the Silph League has chosen a new theme for August, and it's being called the Mirror Cup. It's a reflection of all of our battles from Season 1, and communities will be able to pick from any of the Season 1 themes for their Mirror Cup tournament. And the past cups from the season are Boulder, Twilight, Tempest, Kingdom, Nightmare, Rainbow, Jungle, and Season 1 Regionals. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a series of videos for y'all, basically telling all of the changes that have happened since those cups were run. And I thought, what better place to start than the place that I started doing PvP, and that was during the Nightmare Cup. So what has changed in this cup? I think the most obvious change that has happened during this time is that Charm has become a move in the game, and it's been given to Gardevoir. Now, I think that this new addition to Gardevoir is going to make her the defining Pokemon of this cup. I think before this it might have been Spiritomb or even Toxicroak, probably the most used fighting type. With this addition, as with most Charm users, you're going to basically need to use a shield at some point, but with one shield used, Gardevoir has a whopping win rate of 91% against the rest of the field. Why is this? Gardevoir is a fairy and psychic type, which means she's only going to be getting hit by neutral damage from dark attacks, and she's also going to be resisting fighting attacks because of that psychic type, which we all know. So the three main categories in this cup, she is basically taking resisted damage from two of them. So we know that this cup was very rock, paper, scissors. So if you're beating 2 out of the 3 in rock, paper, scissors, I mean, you're going to be winning a lot of games. To go along with that, she also beats Spiritomb, who, when I was playing in the Nightmare Cup, I believed he was the best pick for Nightmare Cup because he has a lot of neutral matchups versus the fighting types, and then is also super effective against the psychic types. So Gardevoir is similar to him in that she has a lot of good matchups outside of her rock, paper, scissors, except that she wins those, whereas Spiritomb had the neutral matchups. She also beats the confusion users, except for Bronzong, because with his steel typing, Bronzong actually has a better has a resistance against fairy types. Another Pokemon that got a change was Hypno, and what they did was they added new charge moves for him. And while these changes aren't as big as the Charm Fast Attack for Gardevoir, he gained the ability to learn Fire Punch, Ice Punch, and Thunder Punch, or Thunder Punch. And this basically gives Hypno a much faster move in general versus the rest of the field. Before, he was using those 2 1-bar moves. Now he has a 2-bar move. And with the 2-bar move, he's going to have the chance to be able to bait some shields. Now you're asking, which one of the 3 should I use in this cup? I think that Fire Punch is going to give him the best chance against the rest of the field, along with that Shadow Ball. Basically, what Fire Punch gives you is you've gained an extra matchup against Lucario in the zero shield scenario, which you actually lost before because of Lucario's Shadow Ball. Ice Punch and Thunder Punch don't really gain you much in this cup in the 0, 1, or 2 shield scenario versus the meta. They're both good against Xatu, and while they're both better against Xatu than Focus Blast, Fire Punch does just as much to finish off Xatu and gives you the extra matchup advantage against Lucario. I think the only negative that comes from switching to any of these Elemental Blasts is that people loved switching into a locked fighter and farming it down with Confusion, and then having enough energy against the Dark type that would inevitably come in against Hypno to use Focus Blast, which would pretty much one-shot any of the Dark if they don't shield. So there's a little give and take, but I believe that Fire Blast will be better than, or Fire Punch would be better than Focus Blast. You probably still will get one shield off of the dark type in the match. Probably just the one time, but you'll get it the one time because they'll be fearful of the focus blast. Now, every time after that, they'll definitely see that you only have the fire punch, so they won't shield. But you'll get at least the one. I think some notable mentions for this cup are Claydol with Earth Power and Blazekin with Blast Burn and Blast Kick. And the only reason I'm putting them in notable mentions, because they're obviously very good and should be used, is that they were around during the Nightmare Cup, but only at the end. I think only in the last week or so. So you may not have seen this a lot in the cup, or you did an early one and you never went back to see that these things existed. So Blaziken's going to be doing a lot of neutral damage with all of his fire. You're going to have counter on there, so he's still getting that fighting type advantage. And then, like I said, you have the neutral damage versus your bad matchups with his charge attacks. And then Claydol with that Earth Power is going to have a 10% chance of lowering the defense of the opposing Pokemon. And it's a much faster charging attack. You will be able to maybe lower the defense of a bad matchup. So yeah, I think those are the biggest changes for the Nightmare Cup. Just to go over them again, it's Gardevoir with Charm as its fast attack, Hypno with Fire Punch as its secondary charge attack, and then if you hadn't used Claydol and Blaziken, I think Claydol is really good. I never really tested with Blaziken, and I think that Lucario might be much better than him, especially with the Gardevoir changes. I think that Lucario is going to have a much bigger use in this meta. Alright, thanks guys for listening to this video. If there's anything I missed, if you could comment below, that'd be great. And if you want to listen to any more of this series that I'm going to be coming out with, please subscribe to this channel, and thanks. Have a great day.